Oh, wait a minute.
What? What?
Oh,
Come
I
on.
forgot we're on where people can see us now. Sorry,
Pick on my
I just
nose.
saw it. Just looked like you had something.
Really? I don't think so. I am camera ready.
Hey, good to have you with us again. As we start out this season, is what we noticed we've been really fun, impressed. I don't know what you want to call it. You know, shocked a little bit, surprised. Is it
Taken aback?
how many people all over the world have been listening to this podcast?
Right, me too.
And we thank you all. You
Yeah,
know,
thank
every
you.
one of you for checking it out and being a part of it. And
pretty
we
great.
kind of started this on a lark because she
I love podcasts.
yeah, she listens to them all the time. And I had a client that said, how do you start a podcast? And so we sat down and said, why don't we do one?
Yeah.
She said, oh, we're going to do a murder mystery one.
That was my first thought, yeah.
No, we had to call people, had to look
You
stuff
do.
up.
Have to do a lot of research.
Oh, man, no, I didn't want that much work. So we we decided to do something that was about things that we knew about.
Yeah.
Like being
a grandparent,
grandparents.
yeah.
Because about that time,
I have a
we
lot of
started
experience.
getting more grandparents. You know, we have one that just finished high school
Oh my gosh. Yesterday she graduated. Woohoo!
and went to the graduation, and it was kind of crazy. So if you're, you're welcome to continue to listen to us.
Yeah,
We'll
it'd be
still
great.
be on the podcast wherever we're listened at. But also, with this, it's a different experience for us because we wanted to be able to reach out and get to know our audience even more.
Yeah.
So
Hi,
that
see us.
you can use this camera too.
I know. I can use this one too.
You don't have
Used
to.
using this one.
She's not always been on
I'm
television.
not. No, not
Although
really.
I try to keep, says she keeps looking in that camera, and this is your camera. So
I'm
talk to
confused.
people over
Hi.
there. This is the 2-shot camera that people can see us on. But
Sorry.
primarily, we're looking at each other, and it doesn't matter how many times I tell her that she.
This is the
forgets.
two-person. This is mine.
Yeah,
Got it.
got it. Good.
Got it.
So,
Got it.
So we've had so much fun doing this podcast, and it's helped us get to know each other, even though we've been married for
Ever?
13 years coming
Yeah.
up. That there are things that we learn more about how we want to grandparent, what happened in our lives when we were younger, and our involvement with our grandparents and our parents, because we married after our children were practically grown.
Yeah.
So we didn't have a lot of that grandparent interaction when they were little, and we're seeing and talking to other grandparents like us that
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
that so it's been really a neat experience and a lot of fun to share with you guys. And
Getting a lot of insight into different grandparenting styles and the types of grandparents that are out there.
And one of the first, and because now this podcast is going to be found on it's kind of like our Netflix,
Right.
okmoviestream.com, where you'll find the movies that we make, which are all family friendly.
Yes, they are.
We have, again, you don't have to look.
I know I'm not.
It's like she thinks she's got a studio audience.
Hi.
But, anyway, so we have it on okmoviestream.com. You'll find us on YouTube. You'll find us Fire TV and Roku channel, all okmoviestream.com. And we're excited about this opportunity to bring you this show and
Super excited.
make it happen, in a video form, because she's so beautiful and she makes up for all my
shucks.
imperfection. And
Stop it.
So one of our favorite shows that we did, it's been now probably, it was one of the first shows.
It was the very first show on my 50th birthday.
No, it was a second show.
Second
Your 50th
show.
birthday was
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
interviews with the folks who came to your birthday
That's
party.
right. I forgot. Yeah.
She didn't have very many friends, and
No.
whatever. People love her, and we had some really interesting stories, and we'll
Yeah, we did.
probably touch on those as we talk about
Absolutely.
the 5 different types of grandparents, and
Yep.
we're going to say we aren't professional
No.
therapists. Although Deanne was a licensed.
I was a registered behavior technician. I was a paraprofessional, worked in the field of children with disabilities for many, many years.
Yes, she's did a lot of that. She's used many of those on me
I used some techniques on him.
to try to train me to be a better
Put
spouse.
him on
I think.
extinction. It's an it's an ABA term.
Yeah. So, we'll cover some of that as we continue on, because she worked with a lot of those kids, and we happen to have one of our children is on the spectrum, and so it's there's a lot of insight. We have
Yes.
a lot of that to share from experience, and but with the 5 grandparents, we start with grandparent number 1. The formal
Uno.
grandparent.
Yep.
And the formal grandparent is considered to be, I don't even know if there's that many of this type anymore.
I don't know. Maybe like during the time of like Downton Abbey, there were formal grandparents. Shows like PBS maybe have formal grandparents.
The Downtown Abbey.
Downton Abbey.
Downtown.
Downton. No W.
The second
no
movie
W.
was pretty good.
Yes, he did like it.
I
He
couldn't
did.
understand the first one or the TV series because
He
they're
never watched
speaking
the
some
TV
other
series.
language.
No.
And so the formal grandparent are the people that think when you say grandparents, I think like probably what people really kind of think of, or, probably it's at least in our generation, what we consider to be a grandparent. Those grandparents take on the traditional roles. Now we found this, and it was really a great little article in an online magazine from Australia called Over60.com.
Yeah.
So check it out.
Interesting
I know
article.
It's still online,
Yeah,
and
still
they
there.
have a lot of little grandparenting tips
Little
too.
tips and ideas.
So their roles, they believe these formal grandparents are the appropriate guidelines for grandparenting. To provide the background support. Take grandchildren out occasionally on an outing.
Tea.
Yes. Play a role in both children and grandchildren's lives,
Very fancy.
but are not overly involved.
No. They're distant.
Well, I'd like to have that job,
Would you?
Where you go to work and not overly involved. You just, oh yeah,
yeah.
I can do that. You do this.
you do
Maybe
that,
if
you
you
do
took
that.
this and you, but
I'm just going to go over here.
Yeah, but I could say my grandparents, in the formal sense of it, were like I don't think I had a sleepover at any of my grandparents'
Oh, really?
houses.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did you ever want to?
Yeah, I
Was
think
there an
so.
appeal for that? Like, did you find that idea appealing?
Well, on my dad's side, there were over 20 cousins because there were 8 siblings. And
Wow.
so we played nonstop, which I don't think would be anything anybody would ever want to take over 20 kids at the same time.
No.
And, for me, one of the best things about being a grandparent is the toys.
Is it now?
This one is a favorite. It's from Playskool. It's a busy ball popper toy.
Very loud.
And it's been a hit for us. I mean, we thought when we got this because the kids, we thought it would be good for them when they were just toddlers to be able to grip something and to push something.
Oh, yeah.
And
It's a lot of...
hear a noise and to make mechanics work.
It's good for coordination.
And so, it can be a little noisy, and after 300 times straight, it might get on your
annoy you a
nerves.
little
But
bit.
remember, they're going home to their mom and dad. So you just push the button, and there you go.
Down.
And they love watching
love it
these
so much.
little colored balls go down.
I try to
through
grab
there.
them in the midair.
Now, the one thing you have to watch, and we have 4, 5, 8-year-olds that still come over and play with this thing.
And 18-year-old likes to
nonstop.
sometimes.
And they will see if other things will go through there, like
Golf balls.
Cheetos,
Ping pong balls.
any number of things. So you have to
Race
watch
cars.
it. You might find yourself cleaning it out from time to time, but
Yeah.
it is a lot of fun.
Super
and
fun.
you should definitely put this in
Check
your
it out.
arsenal of toys, and you might find yourself playing with it.
A lot.
So we would have every Sunday we would go over to my grandparents' house.
That sounds fun.
Especially on that side.
What would you do?
We would play kickball and
Fun.
Dodgeball and
Dodgeball. Good old dodgeball.
ride go-karts and
Fun.
all kinds of things,
How many injuries occurred?
No broken bones.
That's surprising for
Some
20
cuts
cousins.
and scratches and some of the older ones, my cousins were a little older. They had little sisters, and they were kind of not always nice to them. Like,
okay.
they'd hit them and make them cry, and they'd run into the parents or
that's
something.
sad.
Or
That's not
not
nice.
hit them but hit them
like-
with a ball.
right. Gotcha. Not
And
like
we played kickball or dodgeball because in kickball you got out basically like
right.
dodgeball.
Right. I know. Yeah.
So
I remember.
And then the parents would get involved in big, huge softball games too.
Oh, that's
We
fun.
would have these massive
What was your
softball-
position?
It's different,
Different,
depending on what age I was,
Oh.
and so it was a lot of fun. And but they were formal grandparents in the sense that my grandmother always talked to us. She was cheerful.
Yeah.
And every time you went over there, she absolutely you had to go hungry because if you didn't, you were going to overeat that day because she was going to make you eat.
What would she make?
Oh man, she would make the most amazing burritos. And,
Oh, wow.
And she was good about I'm not a breakfast person, as you know.
I know.
So, but the one thing that she knew that I would eat was rice pudding.
Mm.
And if I were over there, which during the summers, she would take care of us.
I'll have to try rice pudding on air one day.
Yeah. Okay. And so she would make it for me because she knew that was the only thing I would eat. And,
Oh, that's
And there were
nice.
always tortillas and there
Homemade?
was- yeah.
Oh, wow. Can't
Tamales, and she was just the most amazing Spanish cook. And she would make these, like you get them at like Taco Bell now, those cinnamon crisp kind of thing. But these were huge. Every holiday, especially at Christmas time, there were cinnamon crisps for New Year's, tamales for Christmas.
Wow.
Yeah, you asked me once because I told you that about tamales was that every Christmas there'd be a big hog's
Oh,
head.
yeah. I forgot about that.
up
Yeah.
on,
That's why I asked you what she would make.
in the kitchen, and you'd say, "Didn't that gross you out?" And I was like, "No,
No.
we're getting tamales. Who cares?" And so, and my grandfather on my dad's side, I don't know that I've ever had like a conversation with him because he owned a construction company and
You worked all the time.
he was always working.
Yeah.
And so we never really talked, and I was upset with him for that when he passed away because I felt like I never got to know him. But at his funeral, there were more people at his funeral than any other funeral I'd ever been to.
Wow.
And all these people came up to me as if he were talking through them to explain why he didn't talk to me, and they were telling me how wonderful he was to them and their family, give them jobs when nobody else would, help them start businesses of their own, and so many
legacy.
things. So it's it felt almost selfish to want what I thought I wanted when I understood how much he
How
gave.
much you did. Yeah. That's
And,
quite a legacy he left behind.
Yeah, and so and on my other side, my grandmother and grandfather on my mom's side, they were Mama and Papa. They worked a lot too. My grandmother always was a manager at one store or another.
So were they formal? No.
To a certain extent, because I don't think I ever saw them, not like us, like we were around the house in T-shirts and shorts when the kids or grandkids come over sometimes. And sometimes we don't even have any shoes on.
Oh my gosh.
My grandpa would
That's
never.
so passe.
Yeah, my grandpa always had on. My grandma and grandpa, when we were over there, they always had on slacks and
Button-down
dressed
shirt.
to the nines.
Nice.
Yeah,
Wow.
and no matter what, if he was dressed up and he always looked sharp and looked good, and so did my grandmother. And then she wear some of that leopard skin stuff. And
Really?
yeah.
Oh wow.
So they
I'd love
were
to see that.
they were formal, but they were fun.
Yeah.
They were always, loved to see us play and have
Yeah.
a good time and stuff
That's
like
neat.
that.
How fun.
What about yours? Were you any formals?
Yeah, my dad's side of the family, well, my grandparents were pretty formal. My grandfather was a retired Southern Baptist preacher. Thank you for that. I was wondering. He was a Southern Baptist preacher, started preaching when he was 12, and then my grandmother was a preacher's wife, so there was a certain amount of expectation to be proper in that role. And even in the family dynamic, there was that carried over. So, yes, they were formal. I didn't really know them very well. They moved around a lot because they opened a lot of churches. They went to start churches all
Right.
over Texas and Oklahoma and Kansas. But I didn't really know them that well. My grandmother was pretty proper and always had her hair her hair was always done. She went to the hairdresser weekly and always had those awful suits they used to have in the 70s. It was just awful. But they were that hot material. She used to wear those matching suits, and he was always in a pair of slacks and a button-down shirt and his hair all done too. So they were always put together. And growing up, I didn't see them very much until after they retired. And my grandfather was actually a doorman at an apartment complex or apartment building in downtown Tulsa. So he was still, even though he was retired as a pastor, still had kind of a formal job as a retiree. Wore a suit, answered the door, talked to, very formally to people, and makes me wish that I was someone that lived there. So maybe I could have known him in a different capacity as growing up. And my grandmother, she was kind of not very nice. She was kind of abrasive and didn't hand out the compliments very often, and just.
So that's where you get that side of you.
Being abrasive? You think I'm abrasive?
No, I don't want to start a disagreement on the
Yeah,
show. Let's just
What a good idea.
Let's go ahead.
Anyway, and then my other grandparents, my mom's parents, were a lot more laid back and fun and unique. And my grandfather was probably who I was closest to. His name was Jim. I'm named after him. Jimmy is my first name.
Were they formal?
No. They were not formal.
So, and we don't even talk about them yet.
So, no, sorry.
That's, one of the other formals that we
My bad.
were discovered was at her party. One of your friends that you were
Yeah.
a co-teacher, that she grew up in London.
Yeah, she was English. She was grew up in a very proper English family. Had I think it was her grandfather.
Her
Was
grandparents.
a cab driver.
Yeah, when she would go over to the house, that they would have, they would have to dress up in their Sunday best.
They would dress up and
they couldn't go in the formal room, and
no, it's the only place I could go was in a formal room.
they couldn't, do anything
No.
as kids, and that the only time she had a conversation, which I thought was interesting,
It was.
with her grandfather, who was also part of World War II.
Yeah,
that
fascinating.
was when they were in the cab, and she was sitting in the back. Mm-hmm. Then he would talk.
He would open up to her. Mm-hmm.
But other than that, he wouldn't.
Nothing.
So we go on to the fun seeker grandparent.
Okay, well, I can start with her.
Well, I think the fun seeker grandparent is probably more of your modern day grandparent.
Yeah, I
I think that would be, those are the grandparents that want to have fun with their grandchildren.
Yeah,
that they
take them to the water
love to
park
bring
and-
their inner child out to play and
We love
entertain their grandchildren. Their grandchildren know they'll always have a good time with this type of,
Absolutely.
grandma,
Yeah,
grandpa.
they're a lot of fun. Go to the water park, go to the zoo, take them on little adventures and things like that. Play with them outside, fly airplanes. Like that's something that we like to do. You like to. I like to watch. You do it. They like it. Things like that. Like the balloon thing. They love the balloons, the bubbles. Just having fun, enjoying ourselves with them.
Was that what you would say was your other
No,
grandparents?
not like that kind of fun. No, they were just a little bit more laid back, and there's no formality to them. And
I said all that about my mom's side, and I probably should have saved them for another part two.
That's why I was starting to do that, because you did it too. So
Sorry, but they
It's all
were
right.
kind of formal in the sense that they weren't
I get it.
as hands-on in the
Right.
process of just having fun like what we do with our
Right.
grandkids. And we look at every opportunity that we are with them to have fun, but we also keep in mind that we want to teach as well.
Absolutely. You can have fun and have a teaching moment in that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
As people used to ask me all the time, how come your kids know what to do on the baseball field?
Because you taught them.
Because I played with
You
them.
played with them, yeah.
I didn't teach them.
Well, you played and,
I
yeah.
played and taught.
Yeah, right.
And they didn't actually know they were
didn't know you were-
learning.
yeah, right.
We were playing. And I encourage, everybody, take your kid out, play catch.
Yes.
Do
Go
some
outside.
batting stuff.
Yeah.
As
Play some pickleball.
we go to our grandkids that have played. Two of the granddaughters have played softball.
Softball, yeah.
And you can definitely see the difference between people who don't know this, they would say, "Oh, that kid's just naturally gifted." No, his parents played. His or her parents played with them and spent time with them, and it doesn't take that long to learn how to be someone that can catch a ball, or not be afraid of a ball,
right,
or hit a ball, and it just takes consistency, and that's really the thing with everything. Whether
absolutely.
It's learning how to play the piano or guitar or
drums,
any of those things.
I keep telling him I want some drums.
So anyway, the fun seeker grandparent, is someone that enjoys, I think, and sometimes I know for me, there are things that I wish either my parents or my grandparents would have done with me.
Yeah.
That made it not only a learning experience, but fun.
Right.
So, as you know, from time to time, we talk about different toys on the show.
Yeah.
And then we like to show you how to get them. And one of our favorites is the 69-hole rocket bubble gun.
Oh, my gosh. And he's going to open it and count the holes.
She's always telling me what to do.
That's true.
1, 2, 3, 4. I better count the holes another time. But as you can see, count them for yourself, 69 holes. And what it has is a rechargeable little unit. What were you going to say?
No, I was going to say it's a rechargeable unit with a dish. You have a packets of bubbles. Pour them in there.
Well, give me a minute. I
Sorry.
pull out the packet of bubbles. And then you mix them all up in here with a little bit of water.
Yep.
And they dip it in and go after
Loads of fun.
Hours of fun. They'll chase you around. Be prepared to be bubbled. Because they will chase you around and make this fun for you and the entire family.
Yep.
And then try to surprise their parents when they come home.
Oh,
They'll get all bubbled. Plus, the bubbles, when you do them just right, they make some incredible pictures.
it's beautiful pictures for sure.
So don't forget the Rocket 69 hole.
Got to make sure and add that.
Rocket bubble gun. We'll have the link for you down below, and try to pick this up. It's a lot of fun.
Bye.
And I try to do that with our
grandkids,
our grandkids, and encouragement. As a fun seeker, you also be throwing encouragement, because I can remember one of the first times that my dad let me help him wash the truck. And he pointed out the spots that I missed.
Right.
I'm not going to do that again if you're just going to lecture me.
Give me a hard time.
Go back and do it when I'm not looking.
Exactly.
And it was fun for our granddaughter recently when she helped us wash the car.
That was a lot of fun. Yeah.
And
that was cute.
And you can make anything fun.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And that's what what is that book about with Huckleberry Finn and the whitewashing of the fence, and he got people to help him because he made it seem like it was fun.
It's funny.
So those are things that I think that's important as a fun seeker.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And you were saying something about your dad and with the car. My grandmother on my mom's side was a very talented arts and crafts. She's a very talented artist and painter and quilter and things like that. And I didn't realize until a few years ago I started doing some stuff during COVID. Actually, I got into like making jewelry and stuff like that, and I realized I actually like it and I can do it where I never thought I could, but I can, and I attribute that to her.
Is that what I thought you were just trying to take over the workout room?
No.
Okay.
No, that wasn't it. No, sir.
Yeah, you do.
Moving on.
She does make some gorgeous earrings, and she's moved on to learning other things to make, and from dominoes to things that you would just have in the house, or scrap pieces or things like that. And so,
I remember some like from people that have passed away, just making things for them. Anyway,
we'll definitely put like some of her earrings on, and you'll see them. And
that's very sweet.
And
you don't have to do
maybe you might want to have some for yourself.
Maybe.
So part of that, the fun seeker, is I think, like I said, a grandparent that's today that's a little more involved in trying to be, and I think possibly some of that is, like I know on my side, is that going through a divorce,
Yeah.
you feel like you missed out on a lot of that
Right.
fun when my kids were relatively young, and I didn't
True.
get to individually be with them to do some of these things because I'd have all four of them at the same time.
And now that you're a grandpa, you can do that with these and pass that stuff on that you didn't get a chance to do with your kids.
Right. Sorry,
So.
kids, but I'll do it for you. Yeah, we have different, but then we get to do different things with the
Right.
grown kids and that's a whole nother show.
That is another show.
So then the surrogate parent or grandparent,
Yeah.
and those occur for several different reasons. Divorce.
Death.
That you moved back in with your parents.
Yes, I did.
And my brother moved back in with my dad.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's
then
right.
that grandparent becomes more involved in the day-to-day dealings in
Oh,
life
yeah.
of a child, from taking them to the doctor,
Absolutely.
school,
You come to depend on that help when you're dealing with a divorce and needing that someone to help you support you and be there for you. Yeah.
Others, like we ran into a friend that I used to work with that his daughter got pregnant at a young age.
Yeah.
And rather than kick her out and do all
Right.
the things that you see in a movie, they were more supportive so she could continue with her education,
Right.
build a life, and finally find
Embrace that
somebody
role.
else, and then they therefore became almost like the parents of the child,
Right.
to the point
That
that
does happen,
He
so.
talks about putting him to bed every
Yeah.
night, how much he enjoyed it.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
it's wonderful that they are so supportive and that
Mm-hmm.
he could enjoy it, and that is grandparent number 3.
Yep.
The surrogate grandparent. And now
Ooh.
the thing about that is that if you are moving in with your parents,
Yeah.
you also get challenged on some of your own personal feelings sometimes, your personal beliefs, because
that's true.
the grandparent wants to be more involved, and because they
Right.
see more of what goes on every day and
Yeah.
what the child is living through,
That's true.
they become more of the huh?
The reservoir.
No, I haven't get there yet.
Oh, sorry.
It's still on number 3.
I'm sorry. You said 3, and I thought, okay.
And whereas that they feel like they can interject more, and you may not feel like it.
they can interject their opinions more onto you on how to raise your child, and that's not always something that you may not want to hear when you're going through something like you go through like that. So,
But you have to figure out how to be
you
compromising.
have to balance that.
and
Yes.
communicate. Both of you. If you're a grandparent that has this going on in your world, then you have to be willing to communicate with your child, so that when the time comes that they can go out on their own,
Right.
that they continue to be appreciative of you,
Yeah.
and it doesn't harm your relationship or sever any time you might get to spend with your grandchild. So
Right. That's true.
it's important to kind of feel that, and especially today, because
Yeah.
times are different. The level of respect has changed and altered of what younger people are willing to give anyone,
That's very true.
especially their parents. So
Oh yeah, for sure. I think it's more. Yeah, they have a tendency to more listen to their friends than their parents,
yeah.
and that can be hurtful to the parents because the parents have wisdom and have knowledge to share, and then there's that thing of they don't take it and you feel rejected. So it's hard.
And in most cases, okay, so grandparents probably shouldn't give advice on how to use a cell phone.
No,
They may not know enough about that.
no, I don't think that's something that they can impart to anyone, really.
How to do the new math. It's like,
I don't even know how to do that.
'cause
I'm not a math person.
it gets Yeah, they has new ways to do math, and then like I know we were talking to one of our grandkids once and figured out, did you need help with math? No, just go online and let them.
Yeah, I know. It'll do my homework for me. It'll do my math for me. So, yeah. No, need that help. I think, what else? Dating advice. Dating's changed. So, dating advice, that's not something I think that maybe you don't think that grandparents should necessarily impart upon them, because dating has changed. It's online.
It's changed, but it's still the same. It's still the whole relationship part of dating is still the same, and getting to know people, learning how to communicate,
Oh, yeah.
But that's another show too.
It is another show. So.
Going on to number 4.
4 is the reservoir of wisdom.
You want to say it louder, please?
The reservoir of wisdom.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
When you say it low, then nobody thinks you have any wisdom to offer, So those are the grandparents that are the head and authority of the family. They dispense advice, have particular ideas of what and how things need to be done.
In other words, the patriarch or the matriarch, or they think.
Right. Well, it's different. Probably when this was the strongest is probably during the time of Little House on the Prairie.
Okay, yeah. Okay. That's probably legitimate, yes.
The Godfather.
Okay.
That's,
there you go. There you go. Even
times-
Downton Abbey. That bygone era, like hundreds of years ago. Like, yeah.
Right. Things evolve and change so much in this modern time that we live in that, you can... When I was a kid, you bought a TV and they had a tube and other tubes in them, and they basically didn't change for 30 or 40 years, And then now TVs change every year. You got to have the newest, the biggest, the best, 80
That's
inch,
what you think.
90 inch, 100 inch. And so everything on them is changed. The billions, trillions of colors, and
pretty crazy.
So the same thing happens with the way life is today.
Yeah.
Each, it was Bitcoin for a while, and then it was what they did to it's that
NFTs
game exchange place,
Yeah.
NFTs, and it all happens so fast, and that maybe like I had my ex-father-in-law, when we only had one car, insisted that I find another car, that I could get another car for like $1,000. And I said, well, no, not that's running.
Right.
And then I'd have to spend another $4,000 or $5,000, to get it working properly. And then it's going to break down all the time. But he argued that with me constantly.
Yeah.
And, and it was like you even today, $5,000 isn't going to get you a decent car that's reliable, and especially if you don't know anything about cars.
Right.
At that time, I knew a lot about cars, but today I don't know that when you open a hood if I could do what I used to do back then. Because there's so much technology and electronics. And I remember when we got I was a kid, when we got our first car, we lived in the Houston area with air conditioning, which was like 1971.
I was 1.
It also came with power windows. And I remember, never forgot, thought it was so cool. I asked my dad, asked him what he thought. Just another thing going to break down.
Did it ever break down?
Nah, I don't remember. I don't think so. Not since when we had it that I can remember. But so it's ever evolving and changing, and it's hard to keep up. Emotions today are way different. That when I was a kid, we didn't talk about depression.
We didn't talk about depression. They didn't have, at least that we know of, ADHD, ADD, or autism or anything like that. So that is definitely, we're more in touch with. Well, it's more emotions and taking care of your mental health and that stuff we didn't talk about that stuff back then. Didn't happen.
So families have a different kind of an outlook on maybe how the past was. Now, the hope is that maybe we can bring some of the good things from the past into the future. And if you have dialogue and a good open communication
Absolutely.
with your family, like even last night we had that with one of our sons and daughter-in-law. We were able to just talk to them about something concerning to them about another family member. And, we were able to look at it from different sides and try to talk through it without there being any, harsh reactions. But we were also very open and observing to what their feelings and needs are.
Yeah.
And that's what we try to do with our family, and so it's really tough to be that. I think it's if you are a grandparent today and you want to take the stance of the reservoir grandparent holding all the wisdom and everything else is wrong, then you're looking at a lonely existence.
Well, yeah, if you're not open to different ideas and different perspectives, then you're not really a reservoir.
Because then you'll find yourself end up being grandparent number 5.
That's right. Nice segue.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I can't believe you knew that segue. Good.
Okay, well, the next one is the distant grandparent, which are we talking like it could be distant as in like miles, or it could be just that, you are emotionally distant.
Right.
So you can do it both ways.
Yeah, and I think the emotional thing comes from what we were talking about earlier with trying to overstep your bounds into your child and grandchild's
that can make a
existence. Because then they're going to pull away from you.
Exactly. And that's, absolutely.
And even if they don't stop being a part of your life, but they pull away,
right,
you still lose so much contact with them. And, for us, we always try to take into consideration everybody's way of life, so that for us, we just want happiness. We try to have joy in our home. Virtually 98% of the time. Every now and then
there's that 2%.
There's some doom and gloom, but for the most part, we try to find ways to shed light on it so that it's fun, manageable. Because we have had some of our own children have reached the point of the feeling of wanting to take their own lives, or and that's a hard reality to come to, because you can't blame yourself or blame things. You have to find solutions, and you have to work hard at finding ways to help, even if they're just the smallest little bitty, because sometimes that's all you can offer.
Well, yeah, you can't. If you don't have that, if you have not had that experience of, and we're talking about with our grandchildren, like just kids in general, if you have not had that experience personally, it's really hard to give that advice if you haven't had that own experience in your own life. If you haven't had the thought of, I want to kill myself, you can't give advice. You just have to listen. You can give some advice, call me, call a number, get some counseling, very generalized help, because
gentle.
Yeah. Yes.
Because
absolutely.
If all of a sudden, if they're not a big believer in Christ and you start to hound them with that, you're just pushing them away.
Yeah, because in their view, they may not be.
And what they
Christian.
might need the most,
they might not be religious.
Is just comfort, the knowledge of being loved, the hope for future.
Yeah.
And
I think we got off on the distant thing, but a little bit. But this is a good conversation.
So the other part of distance is like my dad. It's my fault. I moved away from where we live to pursue my career. And in the process, started having kids, different places. you
Yeah.
know. Kid in Houston, kid in Dallas,
Yeah.
another kid in Dallas, and then we
It's really
eventually,
hard on himself when he says it's his fault.
then the distance becomes a matter of travel,
yeah.
and in having the finances to travel frequently and to go from here to there and to ask that of your parents. And to make special time for them. Like we try to do whenever our family comes to visit, we block that time off.
Oh yeah.
It's not time that we, go do other things, or unless it's like a baseball game or something that, that's part of our life that the distant grandparent gets to enjoy.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah. But I usually take off work or do things so that we can
occasionally sneaks downstairs to his office occasionally
when everyone goes to bed. But it's but it's also just it's a part of just the existence of making fun.
Yes.
Having big meals,
making the most of that time,
going bowling, doing lots of different things so that those memories last. And we've been grateful that our parents, as they've aged, are still with us. My dad's going to be 84 this year.
Wow.
So,
My dad just turned 80.
And he's not just 84. This is a guy we go play golf. He'll play 18 holes of golf with the grandkids. He'll go bowling.
active.
He'll play pickleball with us. It's like he loves to do everything. He's not like a sit. He will have the cramp or something later, but he still loves to be extremely active and involved. And
it's pretty fun.
So the distant grandparent is just more about, I think, planning when it comes to actual distance.
Like I said, just making the most of that time that they're in town.
Because we end up, I think he comes down 3 or 4 times a year, or he comes up, we go down 3 or 4 times a year, and so it's top 5 grandparenting.
Top 5.
That's the formal grandparent, the fun seeker, the surrogate parent, the reservoir family wisdom,
and
the distant grandparent. Which one are you? Let us know.
Yeah, let us know. I'm really curious.
Send us an email or go on our Facebook and tell us.
That's a great idea. I like that. Yeah,
little
let us
things,
know.
and be looking for some more on okmoviestream.com. Bye.
Bye.